Are they stuck there?
Interesting. Testing. Can everyone hear me? Yeah. Okay, we are going to get started. Let me introduce to you Miss Julia Herrin. She was born and raised right here in the Low Country of South Carolina. Her love of music was cultivated at a young age due to her parents' work in the music industry. And a lot of you might know her dad. Her dad, Jeff Herrin, has been our piano tuner here at Tide Point for many years. So I know that you've heard him as you've come into the clubhouse. He's in here pinging on the piano, trying to tune it, and actually all three of our pianos. Julia began playing the piano at age 7. She was homeschooled through high school and then went to Auburn University Honors College to study piano performance and communications on the pre-law track. Julia got involved in the Miss America organization at the age of 13 as a way to build confidence. She now runs a nonprofit organization and social impact initiative called #RealNotPerfect, which is designed to help curb the rising tide of low self-esteem and depression by educating people on the importance of social media literacy and healthy social media use. In July of 2021, Julia was awarded the title of Miss South Carolina 2021 and will compete at the 100th Miss America competition in Connecticut this December. So please welcome Miss Julia Herrin. Turn that on. Turn the switch on. There you go.
Okay, is it on? Hello, can y'all hear me? Test, test. All right, well, we have a full house today. Thank you all for coming out. It is just an honor to be here and an honor to meet all of you and have the opportunity to perform. She said, I am a piano performance major at Auburn University, but as Miss South Carolina, I don't have the opportunity to perform as much as I did when I was studying piano at Auburn. At Auburn, I would practice and perform about 4 to 6 hours every day, and now I get to perform about 4 to 6 minutes every day. So it definitely has drastically reduced, but that's all right because I do have the honor to serve as Miss South Carolina this year, which is something that I never believed I would ever do. So this is how today is going to go. I will perform for you. I'm going to play 5 pieces for you today, and I'll tell you a little bit about each one of them. They range from movie scores to Beethoven, classical. So it's a little bit of everything. So I'll tell you a little bit about those, and then I will speak a little bit about my story and my journey to Miss America and talk a little bit about Real Not Perfect and why internet safety and social media literacy is so important in our society. So, let's see. Hope you don't mind. For 2 of my pieces, I will be using my music because, like I said, I practice about 4 minutes a day.
The little pieces of paper from Anne.
Oh, yes.
And all my music, too.
Yes, so I took from the same piano teacher from the time I was 7 years old until I was 18 years old and moved to Auburn to study piano. And so I've only ever taken from 2 piano teachers for my entire life. And so Ann Lee, if you know her, she's like my grandmother. We are very close. We're actually more like best friends, I guess. We talk all the time. But don't tell her I'm using my music. She wouldn't like that. So the first piece that I'm going to play for you today is the Prelude in C major by Bach. And this piece, its nickname is the prayer. So while I'm performing this one, I want you to visualize just an image in your head of what you see while I'm playing this. That's one of my favorite parts of music, is the image that it conjures up. So, oh, here, I need this. So that piece, actually, I played it differently than it was written because when Bach wrote this piece, the piano wasn't invented yet. It was invented for the harpsichord. And so there was no pedal on the harpsichord. And so traditionally, I was supposed to play this with no pedal. But I believe it is a lot more beautiful and sounds more like a prayer when it incorporates the pedal as well. So the next piece that I will play for you is actually the first piece that I learned when I started studying at Auburn University, and it is Schubert's Impromptu, Opus 142, number 2. And it is one of my all-time favorites because when I started studying under Dr. Jeremy Semileski, who is a world-renowned pianist, he said, "Oh, I performed this last year. You'll be fine." And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you've been taking for a lot longer than me and you have your master's in this. So, but it's very simple, it's very beautiful, and it's one of my favorites.
Very simple.
Thank you so much. So the next piece that I will play for you today is called The River Flows in You. You may know it actually, but this is actually kind of a funny story about this piece. I heard it in a movie and I knew that I wanted to play it, but at the time I was not a very strong sight reader. Turns out for my entire life I needed glasses and I never knew. Didn't get them until I was 15 years old, and so for the first however many years of playing the piano, 8 years I guess, I thought I was a terrible sight reader, but turns out I guess things weren't supposed to be blurry. So I had to learn this piece without ever seeing the music. I did it entirely by ear. So this is The River Flows in You. It's a contemporary piece by Yuruma. So I'm going to kick it up a notch from here. I have two more pieces for you. They are the longest two pieces, and they are also very loud. And since it's Halloween, they're a little spooky. So I figured they'd be perfect for today. So the first one that I will be performing of these two is Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, third movement, which is actually what I performed when I won Miss South Carolina. But at the time, I was only able to play 90 seconds of it. I'll play a little bit more than that for you today. so much. That one was really fun. I like the passionate, powerful pieces. So the last piece that I will play for you today is, I think, one of my favorites of all time, if not my favorite of all time. And it's because when I was growing up, and I'll talk a little bit about this later, but I struggled severely with self-esteem. And one of the things that I turned to a lot, other than music, was reading. I love to read. And so one of my very favorite book series was The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. And this piece I'm going to play, it's called The Battle. And it is the theme from the movie adaptation of that series. And I had the opportunity to perform this twice on the Miss South Carolina teen stage when I competed 4 times for the title of Miss South Carolina Teen, but I'll get into that later. And it was, I think, my favorite of all time. So, this is The Battle. You can laugh. It's funny, me trying to get this out of here. Okay, I got it. All right. Well, that concludes the music portion of today. What was y'all's favorite? Shout it out.
All of it.
The river flows. I agree. I love that one too. I always like to see what people latch on to when I perform because they're all my favorites, so it's hard for me to pick. Though I will say the last one is probably my favorite.
For the Miss America competition.
I will, but you don't know that, okay? I will perform the Moonlight Sonata, the 90-second version, at Miss America. So to answer your question, don't get to practice very much as Miss South Carolina because since I've won, I've traveled 20,000 miles by car. So I'm always on the road, always on the go, and I do have a keyboard that consistently stays in the back of my car, but it's not the same as a grand piano. So when they were asking me for Miss America what I wanted to perform on live television with strobe lights in my eyes on a piano I've never touched before, I was thinking, let's try not to learn something new. Let's do something we already know. So I decided to stick with the Moonlight Sonata, and the judges at Miss South Carolina told me that they crowned me because of my talent, so I figured why change it. We'll see what happens. I have it. Someone asked me to put it on. I don't have any pins at the moment, but I will. You know what I will do? I will put on my sash because it's just as sparkly and fun.
There you go.
I think the crown's really cool, but I always prefer the sash because it's just really special to me to wear my home state across my chest in terms of this is who I'm representing. This is my community, my state, and to represent them on a national level is crazy to me. Which kind of brings me back to the very beginning of my story. So when I was 7 years old, I started taking piano lessons because I'd always loved music. My family was in the industry, so I grew up around music, and as soon as Mrs. Lee would take me at 7 years old, I was all for it. And so I started taking piano lessons. But what was really crazy about that was that I didn't perform in front of a real audience other than my parents and Mrs. Lee until I was 13 years old. Want to know why? Well, I didn't believe I was talented. I didn't believe I was worth anything. I would wake up every day and look in the mirror and think, you're not going to amount to anything. I don't really know why, other than around that time, I got on social media for the first time. And it's kind of funny to think that when I was on a social media platform that could connect me with anyone throughout the entire world, my mother still had a flip phone. So neither of us knew how to use this. No one had trained me as to what it was, what it could do to me, how it would affect my growing and changing brain. And so I really did fall into this trap of comparison and low self-esteem, and I struggled with depression because of social media. And so I didn't want to perform for anyone ever, like ever. In fact, I think I did one piano recital before competing for Miss America's Outstanding Teen for the first time at 13 years old. And I remember throwing up before the piano recital. That's how much I hated performing. So it's crazy to me to be standing here, having just performed for you all, saying that my major at Auburn University is piano performance. So what changed? What happened? Well, when I was about 13 years old, my mom realized that something needed to change. I had gained a lot of weight because I didn't want to exercise. I didn't think I was worth it. I ate whatever I wanted to because it made me feel better. I didn't really have any friends, and I was homeschooled because I really hated the idea of going to school and interacting with people. And so my mom at this point is thinking, okay, we got to do something. We need help. So what does she decide to do? Sign me up for a pageant. Why? I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. She believed that competing in a pageant would give me confidence that would kickstart my journey to loving myself and finding worth and value. But when she approached me with the idea, I thought it was hilarious. I really did. I was a tomboy in addition to all these other things that I've just told you. And so I absolutely laughed, and I was like, no way. It's never going to happen. Not me, a pageant girl, no way. Obviously, I did it. But when I competed for the title of Miss Hilton Head Island Outstanding Teen, I was 13, I was the youngest one in the competition. I didn't think that I would win. And guess what? I didn't. I placed 6th out of 6. But I had so much fun that I wanted to do it again. Because for the first time, I did something that pushed me outside my comfort zone. And it forced me to be courageous. One of my things that I always say is that I am not fearless. In fact, I'm full of fears. I prefer to call myself courageous because I like to stand up in the face of those fears. And so that's what I did on the Miss Hilton Head Island teen stage, even though I didn't place or win anything at all. So I decided to compete again for the title of Miss Lexington's Outstanding Teen, just to get some practice for the next year's Miss Hilton Head Island competition. And for some reason, the judges saw something in me I had yet to see in myself, and they decided to crown me Miss Lexington's Outstanding Teen. So little 13-year-old Julia Julia's mom really, started driving back and forth to Lexington, which if you don't know is about 2.5 hours away from here. And between when I won in October and when I competed for the title of Miss South Carolina Teen the following June, I drove to Lexington, well, my mother did, 83 times, while also doing school and the piano. Mrs. Lee was really happy about it. So at Miss South Carolina Teen, I really didn't expect much at all, but I placed in the top 10. And so I decided to come back again. And I had this mentality, though. It wasn't a good one. I was starting to see this build of confidence and this build of self-worth, which was wonderful. But at the same time, I had this thought of, if I could only win Miss South Carolina Teen, then maybe, just maybe, people would like me. Maybe, just maybe, I would believe that I'm worth something because I would be Julia Herrin, Miss South Carolina Teen. And to me, that was the coolest thing ever. So I decided to go back again and again and again. And every year I got closer and closer and closer to the crown. First year was top 10. Second year was second runner-up. Third year was first runner-up. I was one spot away, and I had one more year of eligibility. So I decided to come back. But at this point, something had really changed within me. I had been promoting literacy and the importance of reading, which is very, very important, especially to third graders with whom I worked primarily. But I knew that if I had the opportunity to serve as Miss South Carolina Teen, I would want to promote the same thing that I used to struggle with: self-esteem, worth, depression, anxiety, things that really weren't talked about in people my age at that point. And so I changed my platform to #RealNotPerfect. Really, truly, because I needed an excuse to let go of my grip on perfectionism and just be myself. So I competed for Miss South Carolina Teen the very last time, and I was first runner-up again. Sad. My self-esteem plummeted again because, yet again, I had put all of my worth and all of my value in winning that crown. So I thought, I'm done with pageants. That was fun. I earned $20,000 in scholarship money. It's time to take my money and go. I served my state for 4 years in various capacities. This was awesome, but I'm done. Let's go to college, move on with my life. So I decided to attend Auburn University, which is in Alabama. It's an out-of-state school, and they don't give very much scholarship money at all. So my scholarships from Miss America's Outstanding Teen would cover my first year. But I knew that in order to go back for the remaining 3 years, I would have to earn more scholarship money somehow. So the Miss America organization is the largest provider of scholarships for young women in the world. So I decided, hey, might as well compete. Just for going to Miss South Carolina, you win a $1,000 scholarship on top of winning a local title, which is a minimum of a $500 scholarship. So just for showing up, I'd get a $1,500 scholarship. That would help me pay for school. That'd be great. I'd use the wardrobe I already had, wouldn't put any money into it. This is going to be great. So senior year of high school, I won the title of Miss Clarendon and went back, or was about to go back to Miss South Carolina. But I won the title of Miss Clarendon in March of 2020. What happened in March of 2020? The whole world shut down, including pageants, because that's nobody's priority in a worldwide epidemic. So I went to school and graduated, went to school in the middle of this pandemic. And I had to hold my title as Miss Clarendon for 2 years before I had the opportunity to compete for Miss South Carolina. And I went to Miss South Carolina in June of this year, just hoping to win enough scholarship money to cover the next semester. That was my goal. But my goal, in addition to that, was also to prove to myself that this could be fun and that I didn't need a crown in order to be valuable. I already had one. I didn't need to be Miss South Carolina in order to know my worth and to know my value. That comes from somewhere else. And so I went in with this mindset of, this is going to be really fun. I'm never going to win. They're not going to crown a 19-year-old. The girl last year was 26. The youngest Miss South Carolina hasn't been 18 or 19 since the 90s. There's no way it's going to happen. So I competed on that final night, and I actually made the top 15, which gave me a $2,000 scholarship, and I was thrilled. And then somehow I made the top 10, and I'm thinking, okay, $5,000 scholarship, this is great, and I get to perform my talent on live television. Very cool. And then somehow I made the top 5. And I'm like, okay, a minimum of a $7,500 scholarship. This will cover next year's tuition, well, next semester's tuition. I've done what I wanted to do. This is great. Thinking, there's no way I'm going to win. So somehow I make it into the final 2, and I'm sitting like, oh my gosh, is it going to be me? No way, it's not going to be me. There's no way. I literally entered this not kind of as a joke. There's no way it's going to be me. And then I won. And now my life is turned upside down in the best possible way. Miss South Carolina gets awarded a $60,000 scholarship. $60,000. So now my entire tuition at Auburn is covered thanks to the Miss America organization. And not only that, I have the opportunity to travel the state of South Carolina and speak to people just like y'all, perform my talent, and promote #RealNotPerfect. And primarily where I have the opportunity to promote it is in high schools and colleges and middle schools throughout our state, teaching young girls specifically about their worth and their value in an age that tells them you have to have 20,000 followers on Instagram to be worth anything, or you have to be perfect, or you have to look like the cover of Cosmopolitan magazine in order to be loved. But my goal is to walk in there, and normally I do it in jeans and a t-shirt, and say, hey, your worth doesn't come from any of those things. It comes from your heart, your passions, your service. And that's what's going to empower you, not a certain number of Instagram followers that you don't even take with you when you delete the account. And it has been the most impactful and beneficial thing that I have ever done for my own self-esteem and self-worth. Because if you say it enough, you really truly will believe it. But I want to tell you a little bit also about why this is important. So it's not just about worth and value and that sort of thing. It's also talking about internet safety. So while social media is wonderful and it connects us with people all over the globe, it's also negative because it connects us with people all over the globe. You don't know who you're being connected with. You don't know who your children are being connected with. And just this past week, I had the opportunity to go to River Ridge Academy right out here in Bluffton. And I asked the school guidance counselors if they would poll the students. One thing my parent doesn't know about social media is. And the answers were so horrifying that I, as an adult, could not read them out loud in a room of other adults. It was that scary, what our children have to deal with. It's really horrifying. In addition to what our schools and our teachers have to deal with, because now, if you've heard of TikTok or you've seen it in the news, there are children who do challenges on TikTok, such as vandalizing their own schools or hitting their teachers so that they can get a following on social media. Did I know in 2018, when I decided to make internet safety, social media literacy, and Real Not Perfect my platform, what it would be today? How relevant and needed it would be today? No, I didn't. I had no idea. But I am so glad that I have the opportunity to talk about this in schools throughout our state. And even with folks just like yourself. I know all of you probably have a grandchild or someone in your life that may deal with something like this. You may deal with it yourself. And so having these conversations, talking about the importance of social media literacy and social media safety is why I do what I do. It's my passion behind my title as Miss South Carolina. But really and truly, to wrap up, the Miss South Carolina title, it's not about me. It's about something so much bigger than me. It's about making an impact in our state. I have a poll for you. Raise your hand if you've ever watched the Miss America pageant. Okay, so most people in this room. That's great. Okay, so think about everything you know about Miss America and then throw it out the window, because that's not where we are anymore. In 2018, the Miss America organization got rid of the swimsuit competition. Woohoo! Normally that gets a few cheers. Because we believe that women are worth more than what they look like in a swimsuit. And in order to do my job, you shouldn't have to compete in a swimsuit in order to get this job and this role and this scholarship. How weird is it that we ask women to compete in a swimsuit to get a scholarship? I mean, that's weird if you think about it, right? I mean, it is, you know? So I'm so glad that we have now aligned our competition with our mission of preparing great women for the world and preparing the world for great women. So now, not only are we about service, we're about empowerment, we're about scholarship, but we really are about creating a world for the next generation that this generation would be proud of. Creating opportunities for women and men alike that we haven't had before. And so I'm very grateful to be a part of what we call Miss America 2.0, a Miss America who is a modern woman. She's relevant, she's relatable, she's real. And it's truly a blessing to be a part of this organization that is entirely run by volunteers. Not a person gets paid. It's a wonderful opportunity for young women. It's a wonderful opportunity to volunteer with, so if you're looking for something to do. But thank you for the opportunity to share with you about my music, about my journey to Miss America, and about who I am as a person. I have the opportunity to compete for Miss America December 16th. It will be live on NBC, so if you have a TV, tune in and cheer for me. Hopefully, my goal yet again is just to have fun and to win some more scholarship money. Wink, wink. Let's see how that goes this time. And to play on the Miss America stage on live television. Just this year, the Kauai International Piano, if you're familiar with Kauai, it's a brand similar to Steinway. My dad contacted them because he's actually a retailer for them, and he asked if they would name me a Kauai signature artist for the year. And they agreed. So if I have the opportunity to compete in the talent competition on the Miss America stage, it would hopefully launch my career. So please be praying for me in that I will get to perform my talent at Miss America. But thank you, now that I've been rambling on for a little while, thank you so much for the opportunity to come and be with you all here today. It has been a pleasure, and I am just so grateful.
Julia, you don't have to worry about self-esteem anymore. Don't worry about that. But I'd like to ask you the question. Have you used the mic?
It's on. Just hold it up a little
Can you
closer.
hear that now?
Yes.
You don't have to worry about self-esteem. But I wonder, have you thought about a career in concert pianist? Or are you thinking about maybe going down the road in politics where you really belong?
It's funny you ask that. So I'm a double major in piano performance and communications on the pre-law track. So after graduating from Auburn, I will go attend law school. Hopefully Georgetown Law School in D.C. is my dream. And the goal is to one day be a United States Senator after practicing law for a little while. So we will see. We will see.
As a lawyer, I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else have a question for Julia?
I assume that your father has perfect pitch. Has the gene been passed on to you?
He actually does not. I don't either. So don't ask me to sing. It won't go very well. He sings very well, but I can hear when I play a wrong note on the piano, but if I sing, I think it sounds great. My steering wheel thinks it sounds great, but nobody else seems to think so.
Anyone else?
For this Miss South Carolina, do you take a year off from school?
I do. So I will be back fall of 2022.
And how far are you at Auburn? What, are you going to be a junior or?
I actually just finished freshman year.
Oh,
So I only had 1 year at Auburn.
So you have 3 more years to go.
3 more. But Auburn's been really great, and they're actually counting this year as a year-long internship. So I will go back with credits that I didn't have before.
You get credit for this.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
That's good.
It's wonderful.
Anyone else?
I like these questions. They're fairly normal. The last time I got asked questions, it was, what was your favorite fruit? Or what animal would you be? So, which actually you do sometimes get those in a pageant interview, but I like these questions a lot more.
It's on. Just hold it up to your mouth.
Okay. Just repeat your website, hashtag
It's hashtag real not perfect.
real not perfect.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Julia, I have a statement as opposed to a question.
Okay.
Whether it's Miss America or United States Senate, I vote for you.
Thank you so much. Yes, when I run for election, this is my first stop in my campaign tour, so
Well, you have to start.
I have to start somewhere. I speak a time or two, so maybe I'll be good at that. I don't know.
All right. Anyone else?
Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have an older brother, his name's Joel, and a younger sister whose name is Jenna Joy. And we're all within 4 years of each other. So,
All homeschooled?
no, I was homeschooled all the way through 12th grade, and both of my siblings were homeschooled until high school, and then they both attended and attend May River High School. And I get asked all the time, do they treat me any differently as Miss South Carolina? And the answer is, when I go home, I will probably get a sock on the arm, so no. I will always be the middle child.
Okay. Anyone else? So Julia was kind enough, she was at Broad Creek Care Center before she came over here and performed for them and spoke with them as well. So I'm sure she's ready to go home and relax. But Julia, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much.
Announce the piano truck tomorrow.
Yes. Oh, and the concert truck will be in the parking lot in front of the fitness center at 4 p.m. tomorrow. I think we got the word out. All right.
That was fun. Oh no, this was an easy day for me.
Thank you so much. And I was so touched to see these.
I will never take them off.
Yeah,
Never.
I know. I have them in my Beethoven sonatas, in my Schubert.
Yes,
It's
yes.
really great. Why don't you use an iPad? Have you started using an iPad for your music?
I have not. I like paper music. I don't know why. I
I
think
do too, but I mean, I know all the pianists that now come here have an iPad and the lowest pedal.
Yes.
And when you travel, you don't have to take all this music. You can just take your iPad with all the music in it.
that is true. That's true. I think my professor at Auburn always told us not to use an iPad because of looking at a screen for 4 to 6 hours a day while you're practicing can become a lot.
Oh no!
And so he actually
I wouldn't recommend it for
Yeah.
that, but for concertizing and for traveling.
it's something to look into for sure. For
Because
sure.
they have the big ones now. And,
That's very true.
yeah. Excuse me, I didn't mean to dominate the conversation.
Thank you so much.
I'm so interested in comments about women.
Oh, yeah. What about them?
I've run a company here for about 30 years, and women are key to it. Right? They're the reason for success. There's an attitude. The biggest challenge I have right now is there's a period of time that women want to be a mother. And I can't find a way I've tried donating to the Children's Fund, to a lot of different things, right? And finding a way to equalize the opportunity that women have at a very important stage, right?
Right.
When you know and you understand, like you understand what their feeling is, right? And you want to, but that you refresh my feelings about it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Y'all are a good set.
We try.
I just wanted to tell you that Jeff is my absolute favorite
Oh,
and friend.
That's wonderful.
He's been coming a long time to me.
Oh,
and
that's
I love
wonderful.
him. And he showed me your video.
oh,
Of the
he
winning
shows
thing.
everyone. He shows everyone. Oh, you saw it too. Oh my gosh, yes.
Well, yeah, Jeff was at my house.